Hello guys and welcome back to Hey Manager with me Alex, and today a bit of a different video. We're going to do FPL, my first draft. So every year I've tried to do fantasy football throughout the year. It's always fallen off at a certain point. I always try to make it consistent at the beginning, try and get involved, see how I do. Previous years haven't been fantastic for me, but overall, let's have a look at how I can do this year. So let's get into the action. I will show you my team as I pick it, and then the other aspect of what I've got is a few little graphics to go with it, just to show, just to try and add more to the video, pretty much. Anyway, so I've got a squad in mind. I'm going to go through it. We're going to pick it together almost, but I've got a squad in mind. I will scroll down, by the way, when we get to the forwards, so you can see my forwards and zoom out towards the end. But for me, I want to get goalkeepers. Every year, everyone tries to go for a 5.5 and a 4, or something like that. I prefer to go for 2 4.5. So my 4.5s are quite interesting ones. So my one that I've seen so far that I really want, I've seen Kelleher. Kelleher's in there. He's available. He's going to be Brentford's #1 goalkeeper. The defence is pretty good, I've got to admit. I think Kelleher's a pretty good goalkeeper, so I'm going to stick him in there. And then the other player to go alongside him. Now, it was, for the time being, it was going to be Verbruggen, but Brighton's defence towards the end of last season was atrocious, and their first few games are against sides that A, want to prove themselves in Fulham and Everton, and B, you've got the likes of City, Tottenham, Chelsea, Newcastle United all to follow. So I'm not really looking forward to that. The one that I was looking forward to was Vicario, but he is 5 million. I thought he'd be less, but he is 5 million. So we're going to go with Vicario for now, purely because I reckon Thomas Frank can turn Tottenham's season around. I think the defence will be strong again. As you can see, previous to the year that he had this year, obviously he was out for an injury for, I think it's 14 games, but you can see there 112 points, 66 he had this year instead, and even then he was on for, he wasn't on for a massive return this year. So I think Vicario, if you get back to the ways, they might be playing the 5-2-3, whatever. I think Brentford used to play that under Thomas Frank. We don't know if they're going to go for a 4 at the back, be a bit more controlling, but I know for a fact Vicario is going to be the goalkeeper. So that's the first one. Next up, defence. Now, there's pretty much one or two must-haves, I think, this year. Munoz is one for me. This guy is unbelievable. I think he's really, really good. And just going forwards, assists, goals, clean sheets was really good last year. 11 under Glasner. I think they're going to do it again. I think they've got a pretty nice run towards like this middle part of the season, but they've also got in between that, you can see Forest, Sunderland, West Ham, all games that they could probably try and get a clean sheet in. Everton and Bournemouth as well following that, so I think Munoz is right up there. And the other one is, of course, Wan-Bissaka. So a bit of something to show you on Wan-Bissaka. So I've got him above me here, as we're just going to flick over and have a look on it. You can see, actually, by his stats, that 35 matches played, 6 clean sheets, 6 assists. Defensive contributions, what I've done is I've gone on FB Ref and I've actually seen what he's got. So in 35 games, he's had 298 defensive contributions. That's close, very, very close to 10 per game, which is what we're aiming for as defenders now, to get the 2 points bonus for defensive contributions. He had 15 bonus points, as you can see there. Sunderland, Chelsea, Forest, Tottenham and Crystal Palace all going to be in there, but he has been selected by 32.5% of players, so not a really differential pick. Now, I've got a duo here that you're going to question. You're going to say, you've gone all in, Alex. You've lost the plot. You have lost the plot. Well, I don't think I have. I think Tottenham, if they went and when they were fit, were really good in defence. And to me, there's two players that stand out that had a few injuries, but if they can go without injuries, it's Udogie and Van de Ven. Udogie and Van de Ven, I think both of them are incredible. Van de Ven had a fantastic season. He had 12 starts, only 32 points. Obviously, the season prior to that, 5 clean sheets. They look pretty good, but I think they can obviously get much better. And they're starting a few games here. As you can see, Burnley at home is an obvious. I think that's got to be a clean sheet. Then we've got City in there, Bournemouth, potential for a clean sheet, but Bournemouth are very good. West Ham again. Bowen's the only really lethal player that I'm thinking about from there, and then Brighton potentially as well. So a nice first five. 13.9% have chosen Van de Ven. Now I do have another graphic to follow up. Oh, that's not the one. I do have another graphic to follow up with Udogie. So Udogie, I think, again, another player that 24 matches played, got injured, 2 clean sheets, 1 assist. Decently high defensive contributions with 173. 10.8% of people have picked him. 43 total points last year, but I think he's got a pretty nice run-in of games for the start of the season. So we'll have to have a look at that, as I've just maybe given you one of my future picks away. So we've got Keller, Vicario, Munoz, Wan-Bissaka, Udogie, Van de Ven. And then my last defender, now, I was wondering, do I get someone who's like, like a Guehi or a Collins, someone who's going to get a lot of defensive contributions. That's what I'm aiming for. And the one that I've gone for, that I was thinking about, and you might think, and you might wonder why I've done this, it's actually going to be Chalobah from Chelsea, because I think overall last year, if you look at how many games he played, 23, obviously you hit in and out of the Chelsea team, a bit here and there. I think last year, with Palace, unbelievable. With Chelsea, could have been a lot better. But I think this year Chelsea look really, really good. And if Chalobah can prove himself, which I think he has pre-season, they've got a pretty nice run of the 4 games in there. He's not really that Cucurella pick, but like in comparison, you could go with your Virgil van Dijk, you could go for players like that, but Liverpool have a pretty rough first 3 games. Bournemouth, Newcastle, Arsenal. Bournemouth might get run over, but Newcastle, Arsenal, 2 difficult games there, and then I'll be looking to load up on my Liverpool players for the Burnley, Everton, Crystal Palace sort of trio of games, shall we call it there. But for now, we're going to go for that. Then the midfielders, I've gone big this year on my midfielders. Now, controversially, I won't be selecting Salah. I think there's too many strikers, too many midfielders and forwards that can contribute to Liverpool's attack now. You've got Wirtz, you've got Salah, you're going to have Ekitike now, you're going to have Szoboszlai, who is a potential pick for me, realistically, I think. You're then going to have Isak that might be coming in. You've got loads of different players that can contribute to that forward line. I don't know if Salah is going to be the main route to go down next year. So my ones are going to be Palmer. I think Palmer's fantastic. I think he had a great start of last year. He had a great start to a great Club World Cup. Let's just put it that way. I think he's on again for a fantastic season easily, and Chelsea have some pretty nice games to start off the year. The other one I'm going for is Bruno Fernandes. Now you're probably wondering why I'm doing this. Now Fernandes looks like he's going to have a bit of a free roam position. So will he play as the striker in the false 9? Will he play as a third attacking midfielder? Will he play as a central midfielder? I don't know. But if I just show you very, very quickly the statistics that Bruno Fernandes has, by the way, which are outrageous to say the least. So 393 defensive contributions in 35 games. So that is easily close to I think it's 12 actually you need for midfielders, because they include ball recoveries, so that's going to be included. But Bruno Fernandes, for me, you're going to get so many of those extra 2 points for the defensive contributions he has. He then can score 8 goals. 8 goals last year in a struggling United side, 12 assists, which is mental, 28 bonus points, 174 points overall. And United, I think, can only get better considering who they've brought in. And Mbeumo, Cunha, looking to really fire home. If they bring in a striker, Bruno Fernandes, assist-wise, there's going to be loads going for him. So Bruno Fernandes is in there for me. The other players that I've got to surround Bruno Fernandes, which is going to be an interesting one as we just look at them now, I'm going to put in there, and you might think, why am I doing this? I'm going to put in there, if I can find him, Reinders. Now, I know with Pep, it is Pep Roulette, and everyone says it's Pep Roulette, but Reinders had such a fantastic record considering he played a little bit deeper in the AC Milan side that he was in. I think if he can get them defensive contributions, the ball recoveries, pick up an assist, pick up some contributions up front, I think it's going to be a very, very, very good pick. And if Rodri's going to play that deeper role, I think Reinders is going to be in there to be a bit more of a physical Gundogan or a more physical Bernardo Silva, in my opinion. That's how I see Reinders playing. Alongside him, I do have. Let me just quickly have a look at who I did pick last time round. I've got Odegaard, who still for now might be on penalties, but it's a controversial pick. It's a pick that I don't know if I'll stick with. Of course, this is the first draft, and then also I did have Elanga, did have Gibbs White, but I wanted a player around about 6.5 million because otherwise, I'm going a bit over and beyond. I didn't like Jacob Murphy's an interesting one, but Newcastle at the moment just look like they're getting weaker, and with Villa and Liverpool as their first two games, that was a big no-no for me. I want to see how they fare. Bruno Guimaraes, I don't think he gets those defensive contributions enough. I want to just double-check how he starts off the year. Sarr, I'm hearing there about, because a lot of people like to say like his XG was off the charts, but he just didn't achieve that. He fell short of it by a decent margin, so I'm avoiding that. Fulham I don't think will be that great this year. Brighton the same. I've gone with Szoboszlai because I wanted to try and get a Liverpool player in there. I think he's a safe bet because Slot really likes him. Arne Slot loves him, and I think he's a great pick. But the one thing that I've done is change my mind about this because Liverpool again, it's a risk. I don't know who I'll bringing in. I don't know who they're going to start. So I've gone with Dwight McNeil on the other side of Merseyside. I've gone with Dwight McNeil. So McNeil, if I just show you now, didn't have the best of years last year. I've got to admit. Only 15 games played, 4 goals, 8 assists, which is decent enough. 104 defensive contributions, 9 bonus points, 93 total points. So in 15 games, 93 points. Dwight McNeil was a bit of a superstar. Can we just put it that way? I think he was very, very good, like really good. And picking up around about 4.4 points per game, I think he was really, really good. Like seriously. So to me, if I just show you now, let me just double check. It was 15 games he played. Yeah, it was 15 games he played. 93 points, which is mental 4.4 points per game, per match, which is 14th out of 299 players. He's only 6 million. He's going to get you defensive contributions a little bit. I don't think he's as good, but he's going to get you those assists. He's going to get you goals. And Everton have a fantastic start to the season, let me just point out. Leeds, Brighton, Wolves and Villa, I think are all winnable games, to be honest, especially Villa at home as well, depending on what they look like this year. But Leeds definitely, Brighton definitely, Wolves definitely, then Everton, Aston Villa looking like a decent one, and then they have the Merseyside derby and a couple of difficult games here and there. But I think to start off the season, Dwight McNeil is going to be in there for my 6 million bargain choice in the midfield. Then up front, this is going to be an interesting one. This is going to be really, really interesting. So everyone's going João Pedro. I have to go João Pedro. I think it's only logistical. A fantastic Club World Cup. I think you could probably try and sneak Solanke in there because he has Burnley at home. I'll be watching the pre-season matches and seeing how other players fare because João Pedro, obviously, as you can see here, had a fantastic year last year anyway, regardless. 10 goals, 6 assists, 23 starts. Not a lot of minutes, but 126 points. Really, really good. I think over egging his expected goal involvements by about 4. 56.4% of people have picked him though. So do you bank on him not having a great start and picking someone like a Solanke or getting someone like a Beto in there? I don't know, but that's my pick for now. We're also going to go with Haaland. Now Haaland, I think you have to go with Haaland this year. I think there's no other person that you can go with other than Haaland, because Haaland for me is just going to get you 20 goals a season. It's going to be perfect. And City look so much stronger this year, so much stronger. Reinders coming in, they're going to bolster that sort of. They've got James Trafford coming in as a backup, but looking at how they're going to do going forwards, like Foden in there, I think Reinders is just going to add that a bit more energy in the midfield. I can't remember who else they've actually signed, to be honest. Let me just double check and we can have a look on the screen ourselves who they've actually brought in as well. So they've got the likes of Cherky in there as well, I think is going to be fantastic for them. Nipan could be a nice little midfielder to bring in, but if you look at actually who they've got in, Oscar Bob comes back. I think he was fantastic before he got injured. Nico Gonzalez is still there. Mamouche as a midfielder. He's going to be an interesting one. If he starts picking up form, he got 7 goals in 14 starts, and as a midfielder, he's going to get an extra point. I think it's an extra point per goal. So you're going to see him getting you'd be on 80 points last year, and might even push him into the bonus points for how he was doing with a midfielders getting more bonus points. Is it bonus point? What's the actual word? Bonus point system score. You might get more than that. You never know. So we'll see how that fares. Excuse me, but for now, let me just get back onto here. My last pick is going to be an interesting one, and it was one that I was banking on being. This was my banker last year. This was going to be my. We saw Ivan Toney leave. He went to the Saudi League. Thiago was brought in to replace him. Now, I know Visser has played predominantly, right? But Visser, to me, if I just bring him up, and I mean, you can criticise me if you want, but 18 goals last year, off 18 XG, many more assists. I think without Mbeumo there, without that sort of link up with Mbeumo, I reckon that goal scored will dip. I reckon it will, big time. I think he had a pretty good year last year, bit of like a extraordinary year. You can see the years before that, he had like a 10 XG, a 5 XG. I think Mbeumo and him lit up the league, and it was just a perfect year for Brentford up front with Schade as well. I think Visser maybe might take a step back, drift out a bit wider, because Thiago is a born goal scorer. And I know last year, 1 start, 9 points, 167 minutes played. You're probably wondering what the hell you want about, Alex. If you look at this guy before he got his injury, he was unreal. In pre-season, he's already got a goal. So to me, it's got to be Thiago in there as well. So I'm going to enter my squad. We're going to give my squad a name. We're going to call ourselves Hey Managers 11. And then obviously Manchester United fan through and through. So enter the squad. Right, so this is what we're looking at. We're looking at my team here. First game week, I think what I'll be going with. We're looking at Crystal Palace against Chelsea. I'll be putting Munoz onto the bench for that one. Leeds, we're going to be getting Odegaard off the pitch, and we're going to be trying to push onto. In fact, I'm going to probably put Thiago in, and we're going to let Wan-Bissaka stay in there. I might actually take Chalobah off, and we'll play it like this. This is how I think I'll be playing my first game week. We're going to be having not Keller in net. We're going to have Vicario in there. I think my captain is going to be Haaland. Let's make him the captain. My vice is probably going to be, let's just say, Palmer for now. And I think that's how I'm going to play it next year. So this will be my side. I'll just quickly go into full chrome. We're going to have Vicario, Wan-Bissaka, Doggy van der Ven in the back four. Palmer, Fernandes, Reinders and McNeil. Thiago, Pedro and Haaland up front. And then on the bench we've got Keller, Munoz, Odegaard and Chalobah as well. The new FPL layout is a bit of an interesting one, I've got to admit. I quite like it, but at the same time I'm a bit here and there about it. I don't really know what to think. I feel like I always have to zoom out. I feel like it's just a bit cramped this year on this right hand side, but anyway, we can fix that going forward. So, hope you did enjoy this video. If you did, as ever, please leave a like and subscribe if you are new. Thank you for 285 sub managers, a massive plus 14 in the last week or two alone, which is crazy. So thank you for the support. Only 15 off my target for the second half of the year to get to 300 sub managers, which is mind-boggling. So thank you so much for it. Thank you for all the support. Leave a like, comment down below who you'll have in your Fantasy Premier League, and if you disagree with some of my players that I've put in mine. And I shall catch you in the next episode. From me, Alex, have a great day. Ciao.